Hello, hello, ladies. All right, let me just make sure that we are live. Hello, welcome in. All right, it is not showing that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Hello, ladies. Welcome in. I'm so excited to have you. We are going to get straight into this video. What are the absolute non-negotiables that you must have in order to run your dream business? I said this a while ago that nothing taught me how to set boundaries and how to be so fierce with saying no, with speaking my mind, and from showing up so unapologetically. Nothing made that more powerful in my life than having my dream business. Because once I had my dream business, I saw this is what I'm here to do. And there's so much abundance that comes with it that you almost have to protect it. And you go into a mode of course I'm going to say no, of course I'm going to speak my mind here. You become so polarizing. And I want you to activate that even before you have your dream business, because that will help to bring your dream business to you. So welcome in, so excited to get into this topic. Also, I have a very exciting announcement. I'll share it after the first non-negotiable. So welcome in, ladies. Okay, my first non-negotiable to run my dream business is I do not explain myself anymore. It's easy to say, but I'm going to teach you exactly how I did it, because it took maybe a year until I was able to close my mouth and literally stop explaining myself. And I'm talking about when it comes to both my business and my personal life. If you are doing something in your personal life, what a lot of people don't know is that it leaks into how you show up in your business. The two are connected, they're not separate. So how I am in real life is exactly how I am in my business. The funniest thing to me, whenever I meet the Glow Girls out in public, they always say this: Alexis, you're exactly the same on camera as you are in person. And I think, of course, why would I be any different? You can't separate the two identities. And so if I am explaining my decision, such as why I'm saying no to going out to this networking event, or why I am explaining that I don't have the energy for this in a conversation, I will naturally be doing that in my business. So I'm very quick to set a boundary and say, I'm not explaining myself anymore. So a few examples of when this comes up. Here, living in Dubai, there's always something going on, always a party or a networking event, and I am more on the introverted side, so most of the time I'm not going. And here's something that's so beautiful that I've noticed about Dubai. This is why I really love the city, is my friends here never once have asked me to explain, why did you cancel the plans, or why are you not coming? Never once. Because majority of them are also business owners, and they understand that when you are running your business, the most important aspect of yourself that you have to protect is your life force. If it's leaking out, your business is going to be affected, and then you're going to have to say no to everything that comes up. Where before, when I was living in Las Vegas, and this was years ago, when I still had some friends that we weren't quite a match, but I was still keeping them in my life. If they asked me to go out Friday night and it was maybe to a party and there would be drinking and things like that, and I would say, no, I'm not going to be able to go out, they would start to say things like, is it because there's alcohol there? Is it because it's late at night? They would almost try to pick and figure out exactly why I'm not going. And then I would be in this position where I'm trying to explain that, how do I say I don't like this environment? How do I say that I have to get ready to be in this late night party type of situation when I don't want to be doing that? I would rather be at home or in an in-depth conversation with someone. So the first thing that I did to stop explaining myself is removed the people who were asking me to explain myself. Second step, because there's going to be people that ask you to explain yourself naturally, is you learn to politely but also savagely shut it down. So for example, men love to ask, let me take you out to coffee, or let me take you out to dinner. I don't have close friendships with men, and so when I say no, I'm not available to go to dinner, and they ask, well, why not? Rather than explaining, oh, I don't have close male friends, I don't have time to do this with you anyways. Rather than going into that, I just say, I'm not available, but thank you so much for thinking of me. That's it. I've learned to shut it down so politely. I have literally had to seal my lips closed, ladies, because it used to be so hard for me to not be a people pleaser. I used to carry people's emotions literally in my hands, and I would feel, okay, how do I gently let them down? How do I say no, but also let them know why I'm saying no so that they can understand it? Not my job. I wondered why I couldn't have my dream business or show up for my dream business. It's because I was already running someone else's business, their mind. That's not my business. And so I've learned to accept that I will be disappointing people. Handling disappointment is not my job. Only my own disappointment is my job. And I have learned saying no and closing my lips and not going into explaining afterwards. So you can say things like, no thanks, take care, or I'm not available to go and do this. Let's say that a man asks you out and you don't want to go out with him. This was a huge one for me years ago. I used to always lie and say, oh, I'm in a relationship when I wasn't in a relationship back then. And it took me so long to get to the point where I would say, no, thank you, I'm not interested. Or no, thanks, not looking to date. I'm not looking to date was like borderline in between, but now, no, I'm not interested. That's more the sentence that I would use. So don't be afraid of starting off with maybe in between shutting down sentences. You have to expose your body to make it comfortable before you can quantum leap and say, nope, I'm not interested. So also don't put pressure on yourself that I have to be this super powerful, polarizing queen right now. You get to work up to that identity, and then one day you'll look back and realize, whoa, I made so much progress and I'm speaking up for myself in ways that I never would have before. On the business side, my business owner girls I'm talking to, my girls in Divine and Aligned in the Glow Print, you already know this because I've told you this, never explain your prices. When people put you into a mode of explaining, it might seem in the moment, if you explain why the price is the way it is, it might seem like, oh, I'm just doing this for them to give them some information, but actually you are dishonoring yourself. Because really what's happening is you are being put in a position where you have to explain your worth. If you have decided to create artwork and you have decided to put a price on that artwork or on that transformation, that is up to you, and it is never in question. When someone causes you to start to question it, naturally it will plant a seed where you question all of the prices you set in the future. So it's not just something in the moment that you're just, okay, let me just explain my price to them. No, it actually has long-term impacts. I had to learn that very quick. Never do I explain my prices. This is the explanation that I give. One time someone asked, why is your retreat thousands and thousands of dollars? And I would say, this is the price that I've decided works for the experience. So say something that confirms your price, and this is what I feel works best. This is the price that is best for the transformation. With things like my retreats, I would think, how can people be asking why it is this price? Because for me, I knew, first of all, the transformation alone. Women have come to the retreats that I've hosted and left having their dream business plan. They have left deciding, I'm going to move to this city. One of my favorite experiences, one of the ladies that attended the Greece retreat, she was living in LA. She fell in love with Greece while she was there at the retreat. And she goes, I'm moving here. And now she's living in Athens, living her best life. And so the transformation alone is worth the price that I've set. But also there is a back end that people don't see. I hire a retreat planner who costs thousands and thousands of dollars for the villa, for the stay, for the chefs that we hire, for the boats that I plan. Everything has a price. My retreats that I host cost $60,000 plus, but I'm not going to go into explaining, well, this is the price that I'm charging. And everyone has even told me, Alexis, you're underselling the retreats. You need to charge more. I have to do my own inner work to work up to charging more. But knowing that the price that you set covers everything on the back end, That should be enough of an explanation for yourself. Where when someone asks you to explain, you don't need to explain. People that ask you to explain, they're simply not ready. They're asking you to help them get ready, and you cannot do that by explaining it to them. You do it by holding the energy of this is the price. If you're ready, come and get it. That will activate someone, not, oh, here's what I'm giving you and here's everything that I'm doing. Why would they want that identity that they're seeing? People are not buying something from you. They're not buying a product. They're not buying just that experience. They're buying a transformation. They're investing in an identity that they want. So if your identity is explaining, they're not going to want that identity. You have to hold the energy of this is what I have to offer. If you're ready, I would love to have you. If not, also amazing. There's something else for you. And maybe I'll be here when you're ready. So you have to be so polarizing in your business decisions. Another part here, when I moved to Dubai, I got a lot of criticism, not just from certain family members, but also from the world, because people have such a limited perspective of Dubai. What they've heard on the news, they think that's all that there is. And so my mom, she told me something that I will never forget. And I think this is how you handle the world's opinions with feminine energy. Some family members were asking my mom, why did you let your daughter move to the Middle East? Do you know how dangerous it is out there? Do you know how oppressed women are? And my mom responded this way, have you ever been to Dubai? No, but I know what's there. And my mom just goes, oh, okay. And that's it. Notice how she didn't explain why I was moving there, and notice how she handled it with such grace. That to me is feminine energy. I was just taking notes. My mom has taught me a lot about feminine energy. And also, anytime I post about a vlog or living in Dubai, I always get the comments, but Dubai is so shallow and everything there is artificial. And I think this is so interesting, because what I see is it's a city full of people who have left their home country and said, I want to chase another dream. I have another vision that doesn't fit inside the box of my current environment. And so here, all of these entrepreneurs and big thinkers have moved to this city that allows you to think so freely and gives you so many benefits to think so freely. And being in that energy, for me, it has been such an investment in my mind, in my business. My business has grown so much since moving here. Same with my confidence. So I don't explain to people, oh, the energy of entrepreneurship here. No. What I say is my heart wanted to be in Dubai, so I moved here. That is how I explain myself. And last point here before I sum this one up is you have to be okay with being misunderstood in order to stop over-explaining. So for an example, on TikTok, I had posted another video talking about some of my strict dating standards. And all in the comments, I got lots of feedback, some good, some not so good, but I'm okay with that. I am okay with negative comments. I'm okay with being misunderstood. This took me a really, really long time. If you're a content creator in this place, like if you get triggered when you see a negative comment, please search my YouTube video, how to deal with criticism, hate, and negative comments. It will change your life. I share all my inner work that I did, because I used to see a negative comment and spiral and think, okay, maybe what they're saying, is it true? But no, not anymore. I had said in there that I'm not dating a man who doesn't share the same faith as me. And people are like, well, you say that it's important to have an open mind, but you're not really having an open mind. Okay. And I don't respond to the comment. I just say that's their opinion. Because I can't explain to someone why your ideal partner has to have the same values as you in order for a relationship to work. Because at the root of every problem, it's a difference in values when you're in a relationship. If someone doesn't know that already, nothing I can say to them will explain that. So I allow myself to be misunderstood, and I get to keep creating content and running my dream business. Because if I did get triggered being misunderstood, it would stop me from being successful in my business. So that's a mini non-negotiable you have to have for yourself. Be okay being misunderstood. If everyone understands you, you're not saying anything polarizing, and that will never lead to your dream business. Okay, exciting announcement part before we get to number 2. So Annie and I have put together 3 special bundles, and why we are doing this, I wanted to do this actually when we launched the new website, because what I notice happens every time a woman completes these 3 courses is they always want to take another one that is connected. But they say, well, I just invested in this one and I don't know, maybe I should retake the course I just did. So Annie and I have put together something that is going to last for 10 days. And what these are 3 master course bundles. So if you go to my website, thefeminineglow.com, you'll see a new page. It's called bundles. And we have 3 bundles that will give that quantum leap activation, and it comes with 2 courses in one. So it's going to give you a way better price than buying the 2 courses separately. And I feel that everyone is in a season right now where there's a transition. Summer is ending, fall is starting. Most of us are not on top of our New Year's resolutions. We need that identity level up, but we don't know how. And so we've made these bundles for you. There's 3. One is the Feminine Energy Masterclass. It's Master Your Feminine Energy and Magnetically Polarizing. These 2, always women end up taking together. So I wanted to give you a bundle to take them both, or to have them both for when you're ready. The next one is a Coaching Queen Masterclass. It's the Glow Print and the Gold Vault. Always when someone does the Glow Print, they want to do the Gold Vault, because the Gold Vault is the money inner work. They have their coaching business, they have their vision, but then usually the question comes, how do I feel comfortable holding more money? I'm sabotaging the money that I'm making for my business. I'm scared to raise my prices. The Gold Vault gives you permission to raise your prices and the inner work on how to hold more money. How to go from 5K months to 10K months, 10K to 20K, and to continue. The inner work in there, it's inner work for life. Not just how to make an income jump now, but how to do that again and again to repeat it in your business. And then the last bundle that we have, it's the Quantum Leap Toolkit. This one's my personal favorite because it's Divine and Aligned and the Gold Vault. And both of those are probably my favorite courses, personally. So these will be available for another 10 days, then the cart is closing. But we wanted to do something special that will help to give that quantum leap in one package and not put you in a place where you feel, well, I just finished the course and I want to buy another. When you have them both, you will have a greater activation. And I'm gonna let you ladies know here first and send an email tomorrow so that you can get a head start. Okay. The prices of all the bundles are on the website. So it's a discount. If you were to buy them both separate, you can get them for the price of maybe 1.5. Gold Vault, I've been thinking about it. The Gold Vault has been very popular lately. Yes. Okay. And I also have gotten a few comments lately asking if I can re-explain the courses. I think I've talked about all of them maybe 1.5 years ago, and I haven't done like a fresh, here's what's inside, here's the activation that you'll receive. I don't know if I'll make a video or send an email about that, so be on the lookout because I may be doing a refresh of the courses. But I also put the students, their testimonials on the website so that you can see and kind of get a taste of what you will experience when you're in there. And I also post testimonials on my Instagram literally all the time. Okay, let's get into the second one. I've got 5 total and I have a coaching call in 40 minutes. So let me see if I can get them all. All right. So don't explain yourself, be okay with being misunderstood. And one more note quick about being misunderstood. If you try to get everyone to understand you, you're sacrificing depth and you're sacrificing your dream audience because you're playing it very, very safe with how you show up and what you say. This goes for business and personal life. If I'm trying to be understood by everyone on the internet, I'm not going to talk about topics such as, what's one recent one that I had? Strict rules in dating. I'm not going to talk about that because my standards are very, very high. Of course, not everyone is going to understand. And if I was so worried about, I need everyone on the internet to understand me, the depth in those videos, I would never feel safe to make that online. And I would miss bringing in the women who goes, yes, this is what I've been wanting to hear. This is what I've been needing to hear to give myself permission to raise my standards. So you sacrifice the depth with your audience and bringing in the women who see you and go, this is the type of energy that I want. So I would rather be misunderstood than sacrifice depth and my dream audience. All right, number 2 is I say no more than I say yes. And it's both externally and internally. So externally, saying no to the world and saying no to myself. Coffee dates, networking opportunities, podcast opportunities, 99% of the time I'm saying no. Because when I say no, it allows me to say yes to what's truly soul aligned. And I'll give you another example of this. When I first started teaching feminine energy and inner work on YouTube, it felt so exciting. It still feels so exciting, so aligned. Then about 6 months, a year in, people started asking, can you turn this into a podcast, Alexis? Can you put it on Spotify, Apple Music? And back then I didn't have the non-negotiables that I have now to know my body is saying I don't want to do a podcast, but everyone is asking if I will do a podcast, but it never sat right with me. There was something always saying no. Luckily, I listened to that voice and I never turned YouTube into a podcast. And about a month ago, I got an idea where I thought, okay, I really want to start teaching about my faith and femininity, but I don't know if I have the bandwidth to do 2 YouTube channels right now. And then I was praying and God said, what about a podcast? And I thought, yes, this feels so good. If I had said yes to everyone that was asking me to turn the feminine glow into a podcast, I would have said no to this soul aligned desire to start my new podcast, which I just released the 2nd episode last night of. It's called The Fruitful Feminine. I would have thought I'm already doing a YouTube channel and I have a podcast now that I'm having to turn the YouTube videos into a podcast. I don't have the bandwidth for this project, God, sorry. Because I've said no, I'm able to say yes where it actually matters. And sometimes you won't understand why your body is telling you to say no, but you have to trust it. That is another non-negotiable. I trust my body more than I trust the outside world because it has never led me wrong. And I didn't know why my body was saying no back then, but fast forward 2 years later, now I'm launching a new podcast, similar to my channel, but also different. And I needed to be able to say yes now. Trust that your body is saying no for a reason and honor it. And going back to the previous part about coffee dates, my worst nightmare is having coffee dates. I don't like them. I've done them enough in the past. You know when you meet someone maybe at a networking event, and I've talked about this in a previous video, how it's maybe a relationship that you don't feel really excited to explore, but it's also not a red flag. Maybe it's someone who you just feel maybe slightly tired after talking to them. Well, when they say, hey, let's plan a coffee date, I'd love to get to know more about you and your business. Nothing has drained my energy more in life than saying yes to coffee dates. Because when my body knows the relationship is not aligned, it's not someone that I see being a best friend or a business partner, but I still say yes because I don't want to let them down, I'm saying no to my own self. And I'm saying no to my intuition. What do you think will happen if you say no to your intuition over and over and over? Her voice will get quieter. She'll go, it's not worth it to speak up anyways, because when I do, you dishonor what I'm saying. So I say no a lot. Every day, Annie and I get emails in the email inbox. Hey, is Alexis available for this speaking event or this podcast or this opportunity? And Annie knows 99% of the time I'm saying no. Because I have made a promise to say yes to what I'm already doing. I have YouTube, my podcast, TikTok, my coaching business, my clothing line, and I have another project that I've been working on this whole year. I don't have another tab available or open to say yes because I've already said yes to these. If I say yes to a networking event I don't want to go to or a relationship that's not aligned, I'm saying no or I'm saying maybe to one of these. and I don't want to do that. How I've been able to grow my business is by saying no. I remember even back then when I was living with my family and I was just starting my business, and we would always eat dinner and then have Netflix nights. Well, when we would finish a Netflix episode and they would say one more episode, I had to say no sometimes so that I could go up to my room and finish working on my business, or finish that book that I'm reading that's teaching about people skills or psychology. I had to say no even when it hurt sometimes, even when it made other people disappointed. But because I said no back then, now I'm able to see my family way more and give them way more present time and say yes to them. But I had to say no before. Saying no to myself is something I also do. Should we sleep in today? Should we skip the gym? Should we eat this junk food? I say no a lot. Should we doom scroll? We're really tired. We've done a lot of work today. Let's just doom scroll for an hour on TikTok. No, because my future self would not be happy about this. And I have a vision that's more exciting than an hour of scrolling. I have a dream that's more satisfying than instant gratification and dopamine quick fixes. I'm saying no to myself a lot. Now it's become not no, but yes. Like when I say, no, I'm not eating this junk food that's going to make me feel sick afterwards, I'm saying yes. Instead, I get to feel good and I get to energize my body. One of my friends asked me the other day, Alexis, when was the last time that you had fast food? And I thought, I really don't remember. Maybe 2 years ago, Chick-fil-A French fries. It's because that doesn't feel like no restriction anymore. It feels like, no, I don't want to feel sick. Yes, I want to feel amazing. Yes, I want to reward my brain with healthy foods, with good nutrition, so that I could feel my best and be my best in my business and in my life. And also, I feel that I owe it to this community. Ladies, your love, it is like nothing else. Even my friends, they read your YouTube comments. They read your comments on my Instagram posts. I just feel so supported and uplifted, and thank you so much. I feel like I owe you my best. I feel like I have made a decision that I'm going to show up for this community. I have to say no to these other areas because I've already said yes to them, and I want to keep saying yes to them. Everything has a ripple effect, and I've seen that over and over. So I'm very intentional about saying no. I used to be scared, and I look back, I'm like, thank God I'm not scared to say no anymore. So the more I say no, the stronger yes I can give. And also, I don't have any friends in my life where my no disappoints them and makes them spiral. If I tell my friend I'm not available to FaceTime this week, I've got a trip coming up, actually I'll be available to FaceTime in October. Before I would feel, oh, but that's weeks from now, I feel so bad, I really want to connect with them. But my best friends, they say, Alexis, of course, we'll do voice memos in the meantime, can't wait to FaceTime with you when you're back. And also vice versa. When my friend says, Alexis, I've just had a lot going on with work today, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to cancel our call. Or I'm sorry, but I can't send an update this week. I'm just in my luteal phase, I'm not feeling it. My response is enjoy, no pressure, I'm always here. I used to get so frustrated myself when people wouldn't text back. Now I'm like, no, I'm not setting a time restriction on other people's texts, because that was a version of me that was unhealed and very anxious. And the version of me now wouldn't want someone to do this to me. And this actually goes into point number 3, my romantic life. It is a non-negotiable that I only experience healthy masculine energy, and any wounded masculine energy, I have to cut immediately. First of all, because my own internal integrity, I can't teach about unhealthy masculine energy and then entertain unhealthy masculine energy in my life. I made a promise to myself, how I show up on YouTube, I'm showing up in my life. What I teach, I also do myself. And so the first signs of unhealthy masculine energy, even in family, I'm very quick to remove. It's a non-negotiable because my business comes first. So also, I had taught this in another YouTube video. If you search men and money connected, awwlexis, you'll see this video. Men and money are connected. And if I am allowing disrespect from masculine energy, what's going to happen is my money is going to drop. My income is going to drop. Why? Because if I am putting in my vision, in my experience, unhealthy masculine men who disrespect and who show up in a wounded way, it is firing neural pathways in my brain that are creating a blueprint for what to look for in masculine energy. Let's say that a man calls me a name. If I was with a man who was calling me a name and I'm accepting this and I'm hearing it again and again, these pathways in my mind are going, you're allowed to be disrespected and you're allowed to be put down. Men are not safe. Men are hurtful. These wires are the same wires that will hold money that I'm available for. So now if I were to have my highest income month ever and I were to receive that money, first of all, I wouldn't ever receive that money because the wires would block the feminine energy from even creating that idea. But if the money were to come, I would sabotage it because these wires have built a blueprint in my brain saying masculine energy isn't safe. So having this money, it's very dangerous. Masculine energy is disrespectful. So if you keep it near you, you're going to be disrespected. I would sabotage and get rid of anything that could provide stability, security, self-respect, and confidence because I haven't seen that with men. And so this is why men and money connect. This is why I'm very quick to say, disrespect me, you're gone. This is why I'm very quick to say, I've seen these patterns in you, even if it's a family member. I'm not available to open up and give another chance right now. I'm not available to create space in my life for you when you have already had a chance and you have not shown up the way that you needed to. So I'm not saying you have to put up a fence and let anyone go who is disrespected. Yes, I am saying that, but I'm not saying that you have to keep this fence up and be like, no, don't disrespect me. I'm saying that have a fence up in place to protect yourself when you see the disrespect. Put the fence up even higher. They can't even see you. They can't even hear you. They can't even touch you. And also, yes, still forgive men who have hurt you, family members, past relationships, but forgive does not mean give back access to. Forgive means release the emotion from your heart, understand they're human. They did the best with the knowledge that they did, but unfortunately, you guys are not a match. So they do not get access to your life. And then other little things. So for example, what I would do when, okay, so let's think about dating for a second. When men would say something like, we should really get together, I would say something like, yeah, I would love to. But then if he doesn't make plans, gone. Because for me, I think, okay, that's a man that's not in his masculine energy making a plan. And so in your life, if a man says something like, we should hang out, yellow flag, what you want to hear from men is, I've set up a date. How is this restaurant for you? Do you have any allergies? Would you like me to send a car or pick you up? How is this date for you? That's a green flag. Yellow flags are, we should hang out, or I'd really love to see you. ... Men that are in their feminine energies, if you accept them in your life, you will be in the masculine in that relationship, and now it will affect your business. Because while you have to show up in your masculine for your business, other areas of your life, if you are doing that, it's going to dull your feminine energy so much. And that feminine energy is what your business needs to keep pouring life force energy into it. So if you're with a man who wants to sit back and be the feminine and have you plan, have you pay for him, have you lead the relationship, he is harvesting your feminine energy. I'm only available for masculine energy that sows into me. I have a video, Men Who Harvest versus Sow Into Your Feminine Energy, that explains this concept. If a man wants to harvest from me, he's harvesting from the glow girls. That's not cool with me. If a man wants to harvest from me, if he wants me to wait around, give second chances, lead the relationship, he's harvesting from my future business ideas. That's not okay with me. I love my business so much that anything that sacrifices it, you're gone. That's why it's also so important to have a passion or a project or a business that you love. I think there's nothing greater for a woman's feminine energy than to have her own business or project that she's working on. It will give her unshakable confidence and boundaries. It will help her put up boundaries to protect her life force energy. And it makes it so clear who is not in alignment for her, what is not in alignment for her, and what is. Because when you have a vision for your business or your project, it's very clear to see when something doesn't match with that. And you become more polarizing in turn. My business girls, if you're already in divine and aligned, take a look at magnetically polarizing. If you're struggling with, if you want to say something, but something gets stuck in your throat, or you have trouble being powerful when you speak, if you have trouble shutting down disrespect, magnetically polarizing will literally change your life. That's my course for former good girls. All the inner work. How to be a polarizing queen. How to be so grounded in your energy that you are oozing with life force energy and you command respect with your presence. It's very easy for you to raise your prices in your business. It's very easy for you to say no to things that don't feel aligned. It's easy for you to create authentic content because you're so secure in who you are. Your life force energy is your charge. So magnetically polarizing helps you to really wake that up. Anything that threatens my life force energy, I remove. I don't have time for it. I'm not a garden to be harvested from. I am a garden that maybe you can sow into me if I open the gate and give you access. And by sow, I mean provide resources and physically providing, mentally providing, giving protection and security to the feminine energy. That could be a whole other video in itself. I highly recommend checking out Men Who Harvest versus Sow into Your Energy if you have not seen it already. All right, just checking the time. All right. So I use relationships as mirrors for inner work too. If things don't work out in a relationship, for me, it's not the end of the world because I think amazing. First of all, if it was meant to work, it would work. And second of all, I get inner work to learn from right now. Maybe there's gonna be tears with it, that's okay. But I get to look at this as a mirror. I get to look at this as inner work. Every single heartbreak I have been through has now become content that I teach from. And it is always my most powerful teachings and activations. So I allow relationships to be mirrors. I don't try to control them. I don't try to change men. Why I don't try to change men is because I'm not a male coach. I am a coach for women. If I was wanting to change men, I would charge them. You know what? If someone needs a business idea, there we go. I would say you could be a coach for women who want their partners to change, and you coach that man. You help him do the inner work. I see women trying to change their partners so much in relationships, and it breaks my heart because it's sucking out her life force energy. And also, anytime she tries to change him, it's like she's giving him her life force and he is taking it. He doesn't change, first of all, unless he wants to change. And he has to have some sort of internal shift to want to change. You cannot provide that. You might inspire it, but if you want to provide a change, charge him. He should be paying you money if he wants a transformation. Okay. Yep, if it blocks my life force energy, it's out because it's costing my business. And I think of it as it's costing my students, it's costing my clients. Because if it's costing me, that's going to impact them. Let's see. Okay, number 4. My routine is a non-negotiable. The only exception is if I'm traveling or if an emergency comes up. This is my routine that has created success in my business. When I wake up in the morning, it's God first, it's fueling my body and my mind second, it's my business third. So you'll see this in my vlogs. When I wake up, the first thing that I do, read a devotion, I read the Bible, spend time with Jesus, then I go to the gym. If I don't go to the gym, I dance, I go for a walk, I come back. During that time on my drive or at the gym, I'm listening to something that pours into my mind and nourishes it. A podcast, sometimes it's music that I need, sometimes it's a voice memo from a family member or a friend. I get back, I do my self-care, gua sha routine, get myself ready, play with my hair. Last night I cut my hair, I gave myself some bangs. And then I make a delicious, healthy breakfast that nourishes my body. Because the first part of my day is dedicated to my soul, my heart, and my mind, my business, what I pour into it later that day, it is so much more powerful. If I flipped things and did it out of order, always, it would cost something to my business because I wasn't my best. It's like I was trying to pour from an empty cup. I would wake up, check my emails, get anxious. I would start working on a project first thing in the morning, and I realized this isn't going to work for me. I have to be my best by nourishing and choosing my best first. We talk about tithing a lot as Christians and giving 10% of our income to God, but I also believe in giving the first 10% of my day to God. Because He has blessed me with that whole day to begin with and everything in it, the least that I can do is give Him the first 10%. Spend that time with Him. Soak up His wisdom, His voice. It relaxes my nervous system and it gives me peace. That peace, when I plant it into my business later, it grows so much more successfully. Your business, you will have more of a harvest from it when your day starts off with a solid foundation. And another note too is if I need to do inner work, there are days where I feel I'm blocked creatively right now, or I just feel low, like I feel something's bothering me. I will push whatever business work that I had to do, I'll push it to later that day or move it to the next day, and I will pull out my journal and do that inner work. It is so essential that I do the inner work first because my whole business is built on inner work. Every single business actually is built on inner work. And so if I say, okay, I feel an emotion, but I'm just gonna push it down, it's going to pop up in my business as a block. My girls who are blocked creatively, if you can't think of ideas, if you can't speak your truth, if you can't go the next level in your business, there's probably an inner work block that you need to work through. So I prioritize that, and that's the first thing that I do before working. Okay, let me make sure my voice is good to go for my client. Yeah, okay, so inner work also comes first. My whole inner work program is Master Your Feminine Energy. That will teach you how to do inner work from A to Z. And also I'm okay with not everything being done in my business. I have had to learn how to close my eyes and go to sleep at night, knowing that I still have boxes that need to be checked off. Because one day I woke up and I realized I'm always going to have a to-do list, which means I'm always going to have some boxes that are empty. So how about I'm okay with having some boxes unchecked. I still get to be happy and unplug and play sometimes, rest sometimes, while still having these empty boxes. I'm okay with that. Because if I'm undone, my business will come undone. Not that it will come undone, but it won't be at its best. Okay, this is the last one, and this one's really quick, then I want to take a few questions. If I'm drained, this is my non-negotiable point number 5. If I'm drained, I'm outsourcing it. This has been my inner work this whole year, and it's been so healing for me as an oldest daughter who wants to control everything. I have outsourced editing my vlogs. I have outsourced cleaning my apartment because I've been cleaning, like I've been scrubbing my toilets one day and realizing this just took me 2 hours to deep clean my apartment. What could I have done with this time? I still had blocks where I'm like, but it'll be better if I do it, and maybe cleaning is therapy sometimes, but not the way I was doing it. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to book a housekeeper. It's changed my life. It's brought so much peace. Also editing my vlogs. I used to spend like 15 hours editing my vlogs, and I remember my mom and I were coming home last year. This is when I took my mom to Thailand for her birthday, and I was trying to edit my vlog from Singapore. I was trying to edit Japan content, And I was on the plane and thinking, I'm missing these precious moments hanging out with my mom and eating snacks and just enjoying the traveling because I'm so overwhelmed with editing all this vlog content. So my inner work for 2025 has been, I'm not editing my vlogs anymore. I've hired someone to do it. They're wonderful. I think all of my vlogs, February to now, someone else has edited, and it's changed my life. It's given me permission to relax. Having Annie, my assistant, we've been working together for over a year now. There's still times where Annie goes, Alexis, I've got this for you. You don't have to take care of this. I will take care of it. And to go, okay, I don't need to know how to run the emails. I don't need to know how to set up this part in the course. Annie can do it. It is still a little bit of a struggle for me, being completely honest, but I need that inner work because when I have gotten that energy back, and it's always so worth it for me to pay and to hire someone because I see money as a tool. I see money that I spend not as it costs me something, but I invest money. Any money that I exchange. Even if I'm buying organic eggs at the store and they're pricier, I say this is an investment in my omega-3s. So even, this is the kind of stuff I talk about in the Gold Vault course. Even the way that I speak about money to myself, I've had to reframe it in order to release it and to be able to hold more. Because if you're holding it so tight, you don't have room for more to come in. The more you release, the more you allow in. So outsourcing has unlocked more abundance in my life. If I'm drained, I'm not doing it. And even personal projects, like there's things from my personal life that I message Annie, hey Annie, can you take care of this for me? And she supports my business but personal life, and I'm just so grateful. All of my business owner friends, I'm giving them her contact. I'm like, guys, you need an assistant. You should not be doing this for yourself anymore because your most valuable asset in the business is your creativity. You have to protect that and put up a non-negotiable that you're not going to sacrifice it and be drained. So to sum these up, my non-negotiables to run my dream business successfully is I don't explain myself. Say no more than you say yes. Romance must be, and actually any relationship with masculine energy must be from healthy masculine energy. If you have family members who you have to keep in your life who are not so healthy, put up a fence and limit access to you. Remember, your business, your dream clients, they are at stake. Have a routine. For me, it's God first, nourishing my mind, my body second, and then my business comes third. My family and friends comes in between my time with God and in between my self-care time. And number 3, if I'm drained, I'm outsourcing it. Outsourcing unlocks more abundance. Okay, I've got 4 minutes before I have to run for my coaching call, so let me jump in the chat. Hi, ladies. And remember the bundles, there's 10 days left and then the cart closes. There's 3 to choose from. You'll know which one is good for you. The question I get all the time is, I want to be a coach. Should I do Divine and Aligned or the Glow Print? The Glow Print is for coaches. How I set up my coaching business and run it to this day, I literally give you all of not just my inner work to get there, but my actual tools. How did I set up my website? How do you know how to price your courses? How do you learn how to teach a course? How do you create content online? All of the inner work, marketing, and actual essential business tools are in the Glow Print. But let's say that you want to start a business and maybe you don't know what it is, but you have something that you love, maybe something that you love to teach. Divine Aligned all the way. It gives you permission to get out of the 9-to-5 mindset and start going full in. Start living as that business owner and start creating that to be your reality. And both are in those bundles with the Gold Vault. Yes, my oldest daughters have entered the chat. I feel you, girl. Is it possible to become a coach by doing your course? Yes, majority of my students who have completed the Glow Print, they are coaches right now. Holistic health coaches, inner work coaches, relationship and dating coaches. You don't have to know what type you want to be. And actually I tell the girls, come in there with an open mind because it most likely will change. But yes. Thank you so much, ladies. I cut my bangs last night, so I just got a trim and I asked them, can you cut bangs? But then I washed my hair yesterday and it wasn't straight anymore, and I thought, they're not short enough. If you saw my Instagram story, you know. I think they're pretty good. Ooh, Lynn, I love this for you. My subconscious mind doesn't like when I scroll for more than a minute, probably because it's telling you less consuming, more creating. I love that you can feel what your subconscious is telling you. That's gold. I'm gonna have 2 videos coming out. So I'm getting ready to travel. I have 3 weeks of content prepared for you ladies. I'm so excited. I didn't wanna just, are going to be especially for stretching your 2 of those rubber band. It's a full inner work video on your rubber band. I'm so excited for you to see it. And the next one is secret. It's called The Secret Rule to Run Your Dream Business, something like that. Both of them I've already recorded, they're scheduled, ready to go. I'm so excited for you to see them. If you liked this video, I think you'll really love those. Always be Delulu until it's done. That's my girl. Yep. Every time I achieve, this is so perfect. Every time I achieve something good, my body sabotages it so much that I fall sick. How to deal with it. This used to happen to me. So Kaifa, my video coming up about the rubber band theory, or the rubber band concept, you're gonna wanna watch that. It will give you all the inner work for what's happening and how to switch it. But I would say you're having a rubber band stretch and sabotage and snap. Okay. Yep, you can always email Annie if you have questions about the courses. Sometimes I will email back too, because when a woman says I'm torn between these two, but this is what I really want in my inner work journey, Alexis, usually I can tell by her wording and by her message what kind of course or activation she needs. So I am happy to help you with that, and so is Annie. You can always email us if you have questions. I don't give a certificate when you complete the glow print. I was thinking about doing this, but to me, I think if I'm giving the girls a piece of paper, once you take the glow print, you'll see that doesn't go along with the inner work in there at all, because I don't need you to have a piece of paper to feel ready. I need you to be activated internally to feel ready to be a coach. A piece of paper is not going to help with that. And so the inner work that I give you is the certificate for your soul. So you'll see why when you take it, I don't give a certificate, because it would be like you already having the activation and saying, okay, here's something to seal the deal. You don't need something to seal the deal except for a decision that it's sealed, that you are qualified and that you are ready. And the inner work in there will help you to feel qualified and ready. 24 hours has passed and I unmatched him because of your video, choosing myself. Girl, I'm so happy for you. It feels so freeing to choose yourself, because your body knows when something is not. And I'm so happy that the video helped. Okay. All right, ladies, I'm gonna run. I've got a call with one of my clients. Thank you so much for being here and your questions. I love you so much. I cannot wait to see you in the next videos, and have a beautiful rest of your week. Bye, everybody.